Hi, this is Alex from D Sharp Games, and I'm going to be showing some of my processes for animation today. In this image I am reusing some artwork of Fudge in order to animate him showing that he's tired when he runs out of stamina. So I'm chopping up the arm and legs so that they're on separate layers so that I can rotate them easily during the animation. Then I am sealing up the tears in the image since I've cut out the limbs. Obviously the best way to animate with this approach is using separate layers for each of the elements of the body which are going to move. I decided to use quite a traditional kind of imagery to show that Fudge was tired, using sweat drops flying through the air. I also re-merged the layers for the sweat droplets after I'd completed creating the image, so that they can be easily moved around during animation. Then I copied and pasted the sweat drops as you saw there to get more, but I was never sure if I was actually using too many sweat drops. But it seemed to work the way I did it in the end. Here I'm creating the second stage of this animation by layering the sweat drops over the top so I can see how far I want to move them for the second frame. Recently I've been enjoying the animation Hilda, which uses some similar imagery and fantasy stylings that I would like to introduce into Dream Knights. And here you can see me positioning the body for the second frame. Now I'm gonna import this animation into the engine construct 2. So each of the animations has 2 frames, but the animation will loop for as long as the character is tired. I've created this animation for each of the skill types that Fudge has. I'm now setting the origin and image points. That's the center of the character, so the animations run smoothly between each other, and other image points are where I link other images to the character, such as the Thimble Knight's needle weapon. I'm now coding in these animations to link them to the player character. So I've recently been playing Cuphead, which has some visual similarities to Dream Knights, with the illustrated, stylized, surreal, dreamlike imagery. However, that game is much more of a shooter, whereas Dream Knights is more of a puzzle platformer. I personally found that Cuphead is a very difficult and punishing to the player, requiring a lot of replaying the same level over and over. And a lot of the levels focus on these boss fights rather than on the platform style levels. However, my favourite parts of the game were the platform levels, aside from the fantastic artwork. I need to develop the bosses in my game so they have more variety of attacks and different methods and timings and movement, similar to the way that Cuphead does. Another game that I've been playing lately is Darkest Dungeon, an interesting turn-based RPG that uses the character's psychology and fear, plays a large role in the tactics and the unpredictableness of the game, because characters in Darkest Dungeon can suddenly become terrified and 2 minutes later have a heart attack from fright, making it very difficult to progress in the beginning. At the moment in Dream Knights, in the engine, I am still coding in the new animation so that whenever the stamina gets below a certain level, this animation plays on repeat. Another game that I've been playing is Soma, where you have to interact with the environment and travel through lots of different environments whilst avoiding these alien-like beings. I love the idea of having to physically interact with the environment to solve puzzles. It's a very narrative-driven game as well. Similarly to another game by the same company, Insomnia, where a lot of the puzzles involve interacting physically with the environment. I'm going to playtest the game to check that everything is running right. It's not working quite right at the moment. I just need to finish tweaking the code so that it's activated at the right time. Sometimes just moving around a line of code to a different order can make a big deal. I'm now adding new variables to alter the timing of when the stamina loss animation activates based on whether the character is facing left or right. It's easy to get lost in this long list of variables. Sometimes I forget to use the search function. So now I'm setting both the left and right variations of the animation. And I'm gonna see if it works again. It still doesn't seem to be working in the engine. I've realised that I've made a mistake in the coding here. So I'm having to change how the animation is activated. Because at the moment it's not coming in at the right time. Another platform game that I've been playing recently is Heartstar, where you must get two different characters to the end, but they can only walk on certain platforms, and you must jump on the other character's head in order to move around, or one character presses different switches. I quite like these ideas. I'm gonna test the code again in a second. I've just had to keep reorganizing it until it's gonna activate everything correctly. So it's the walk animations that are saying whether it's left or right. I'm now renaming the animations so that it's more distinct, and the labels I've put in the code will now be correct as well. Now you can see I've come across a new problem. The animations I've imported are at the wrong size in comparison to all the other animations, because I accidentally imported the wrong size, because I've already created the smaller size. The first platformer that I ever played was Lion King on the Sega Mega Drive, and that was very difficult. It required a mastery of the simple platform mechanics. Timing was everything in the branch swinging sections of that game. I would potentially like to bring in some swinging platform mechanics as well. I can see that I've nearly corrected my mistake. And all the animations should now work. Now you can see it's working properly at last.